this story. Okay, I heard this story. It's a true story. And immediately upon hearing about this story, it just made me think of Matthew 19 and 26. Hear this. And I brought this out on our Global View, the news program that I do 6 to 8 p.m. every evening, Monday through Friday. Now, I did this story a couple of years ago, and this is where there was a ship, okay, a fishing ship, and you had 3 folks that was on it. You had the captain, you had one other guy, and this guy that actually survived this. But hear this. So it was 3 of them on the ship, and this one particular night, it was rainy. The waves, it was really high, just moving the ship and so on. But it's nothing that they haven't went through in the past. So everyone went to sleep, and about 5 in the morning, the guy said, he remembered looking at the clock. It was 5. So it's dark. So he's walking in the lower hallway to get to the restroom. And as he got in there, guess what happened? A huge wave hit the boat and turned the boat over. Okay, and from that, the boat started to sink. I'm saying boat, but it was a small, like similar to a tugboat. A very small, sort of ship. I forgot what they call it. And it turned over and started to sink. Now imagine a terrible storm, huge wind, rough sea. The boat started to sink, and it's sinking. And this guy, realizing what's going on, is trying to get through. And keep in mind, it is pitch black. So the ship, it kept going down, and he knew they were sinking. There was no way he could see. Water coming in is cold off the coast of South Africa, and he felt eventually when the boat hit the bottom of the sea. Now it's cold. He understood that the boat overturned, and there were 2 other people that was on there. But the interesting thing is, when the boat flipped over, there remained a pocket of air. So this is what he did. He was feeling around and of course panicking a little bit, and he got on top of a mattress and was laying there. All right, he's laying on top of the mattress with that pocket of air, and he just started to pray. He started to pray, and he was hoping that those on the boat didn't perish. So he's there laying down, and he said, when a reporter asked him, well, what were you thinking? He said, well, at first he panicked a little bit, then he became quite calm. So as he's laying on this mattress, he started to think on the Lord's goodness. And he started to remember when he was a young boy, how his parents used to read scriptures to him. And that started to give him a peace that passed all understanding. That started to give him, his faith even became much greater, knowing that he will be all right, because he could have been panicking, he could have drowned, he could have, anything could have happened at this moment, but he was so still in the midst of this storm. And mind you, he was 100 feet plus down, so he knew he was really deep under. But guess what? From him remembering those things, he had faith in the Lord that he'll be okay. Everything was against him, but he still trusted in the Lord that he would be okay. And he stayed there, I kid you not, for 18 hours underwater with that small pocket of air, and just having faith that things would be all right. Well, eventually, within that time, they sent out a search ship to find them. So they came with the divers came in. They had those little things that pulled them underwater. I forgot what to call it. And he could hear the divers behind, outside the ship rather. And he's trying to bang on the wall, but they couldn't hear it. I mean, how far is the sound going to travel under the water? So they came in, and meanwhile, before they showed up, he can hear fish in the water, okay, scrambling, splashing a little bit. knowing that they were probably feasting on the bodies of the other two men. He knew that area was full of sharks, jellyfish, and all of that. So listen, so he can hear people outside. So something deep within him, a voice spoke to him, go into the water, because he was hearing something within the ship where he was. So this is what he did. He got out and he went in the water, pitch dark. All he could do is hear a little bit. It could have been a shark, it could have been anything, but he trusted in the Lord enough to listen and go in that water. And it's cold and he's deep under, and whatever was there, he touched it. Could you imagine that person who felt that touch at that depth? You know, but he touched, and it was a person. And check this out. They were shocked to know anybody survived such a terrible situation. Okay, and he wound up coming out. They gave him air or whatever, came out, and he gave God all the glory. And that just reminded me of Matthew 19 and verse 26. It said, "But Jesus beheld them and said unto them, With men this is impossible, but with God all things are possible." So we here at Visionary Talk Radio encourage you to always trust in the Lord, because there's nothing impossible for our God. All right, so remember that, and never, ever let go.